Okay, so I want you to understand that information that you access has value in the open market. Now, there are plenty of locations, places you can go to get high quality, free, or low cost information. Those are the exception, not necessarily the rule. More and more publishers, researchers are trying to get their information out for free or for very low cost to the consumer. But I wanted you to understand how information costs why, how it is produced, marketed, and sold. So the first thing you need to know is the cycle that information goes through. This is mostly in the sciences and social sciences. In the arts and humanities, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to be focusing more on the sciences and the social sciences. So the cycle of information is an event happens, it's immediate. Very low cost to get access to this information. It can happen in the form of a tweet, a blog, a news source on a website, all right, something that maybe you're going to be getting access to, a text message through a phone, most likely. Next is like within 24 hours of an event happening. Within 24 hours, people are going to do a little bit more analysis. Journalists will take a closer look at it. Television news reporters will take a look at it, and you'll start to see it analyzed a little bit more in like newspapers and TV reports. Again, a low cost to get access. You can use your phone to access a television news station like CNN or BBC. 1 to 2 months out, now the cost starts to go up. You're going to have magazines, trade journals. They're going to do a more in-depth look at that event that had happened 1 or 2 months ago. That's going to take time. So you're going to see the cost, a subscription cost, a one-time cost go up. Now, sometimes these magazines you can access online, but you're going to have to pay a subscription. Now, 1 to 2 years after an event, now you start to get academics and researchers taking a closer look at the event. So again, that's going to take their time. And because that's going to take their time, the cost for you to access that information is going to go up. There'll also be another party involved. In this case, it's in a journal. So you're going to have to pay access to the journal article. 2 years or more after an event happens, it's usually a really good in-depth look at an event. You can have multiple people taking a look at some phenomena. Years from now, the current health crisis of COVID, you will have a bunch of people from healthcare. You will have people, researchers from mental health. You'll have people who are from the arts who will come in, politicians, governments, who maybe put together a closer look, at a more in-depth look at how this whole event of COVID-19 had transpired across the globe. That'll take a couple of years. It'll go through a publishing house. The cost of the access to that will rise because more people will be involved. One of the biggest, highest costs is something we call an aggregate. And an aggregate is when all of the information is put into one big package. In this case, usually called a database. Now, a database can have information on a whole host of topics. It can have information on topics related to politics, topics related to gender, related to biology. It's all in one place. And because it's convenient for you and it's all in one place, the people that produce it take a lot of time and energy and effort to produce it, so the cost is going to go up. Let's take a closer look. Immediate. An immediate event happens. The only cost to you really is access to a phone and bandwidth your data. Okay? It's going to be shared usually through social media. A tweet, WhatsApp, WeChat, access to a website like CNN, Al Jazeera. So really the only cost to you at this point is the cost of a phone and cost of the data to get access to that immediate event. Now 24 hours out, when you're starting to get more in-depth look at an event, your cost is going to start to go up. Still have costs for the device, the phone, maybe a laptop, data, but now you might be running into a subscription, or sometimes called a paywall. Because this information is shared through the internet, it could be shared in print. It could be a physical newspaper, one that you find on the street. In that case, there's a cost to you, one time or a subscription. Same thing with online. If you want access to New York Times or London Times, you may run across a situation where these newspapers will give you a certain number of accesses for free, and then after that you hit a paywall. TV news. Now this might require that you have a cable subscription, or again, you might be able to just get through using your device and data. 1 to 2 months later, cost is going up again. Now, this is primarily because it's shared through magazines, print, or online subscriptions. These are thicker, they're longer pieces, they're longer research on a particular event, so you're going to have to pay for access to the format in the form of a print subscription to a magazine or in the form of an online subscription. A lot of times you're going to run into a case where it's not immediately available for free. Now, 1 to 2 years out is when academics and researchers start to get involved in an event. They're going to do an analysis of the past event. It could take 1 to 2 years for their analysis to come through. You're going to need a computer or a phone. A lot of times you don't want to look at these. It comes in the form of journal articles. You don't want to look at these through a phone because it's too difficult. So you're going to want a larger device like a laptop or a tablet. You're going to use your data. And again, you're going to have access to a subscription. So this is either going to be a print subscription or what we call a one-time access fee. Some journals don't let you do that. You have to have like a subscription for an entire year. So your cost is going to go up. The format that's going to be shared through is what's called an article. A journal article, scholarly article, peer-reviewed. This is some of the jargon that's used to describe this type of information. 2 or more years later, you're going to get academics, organizations, governments that are maybe going to analyze a past event in more detail. More people will get involved in analyzing an event. This cost is going to, again, go up. This can be shared through a book or an ebook, through a report, a government report, a nonprofit report, or even access to a data set. And again, all of that is going to cost money. It's either going to cost one time to purchase access, or they can make you have a subscription, which means you would have to periodically update and pay maybe on a monthly or a yearly basis. And then the last, as I had said, was an aggregate. All of the types of information previously listed in these slides are now in one place, with the exception of immediate types like tweets. So newspaper, magazine, journal articles, reports, data sets, all of that is aggregated into one spot. It's usually called a database. And they're going to make you pay a subscription. Now, institutions like libraries, academic libraries, public libraries, they pay much higher costs because so many people can get access. But if it was just you, they may make you pay for a daily access or monthly access pass, or maybe even a yearly pass. So the potential for you in an aggregated database where all of the journal articles on, say, biology, all the journal articles and books related to health are all in one spot, could potentially run you into the hundreds or thousands of dollars. It's why it's very important, if you ever have access to a public library or an academic library, if you're taking this course, then you definitely want to make sure that you visit any public institution that you might have access to, because having access to these aggregate packages called databases is extremely important. Now, in the next lesson, I'm going to talk about open access, which is something that has a lot of promise and has been becoming more and more acceptable in the world of scholarship and research.